For this video, we show you a great way to get a stunning and affordable DIY full wargaming terrain setup for the budget price of around $30. Hello gamers and terrain enthusiasts, Matthew here from Grey Army Gaming in Foliage, Sweden. By the time one has purchased one or several gaming mats and various pieces of terrain, you can be looking at prices in the hundreds of dollars. One well-kept secret, however, is that our hobby need not be so expensive. It is entirely possible to get yourself a fantastic and cinematic wargaming setup on a very tight budget. What you see before you is one example of just such a setup, a natural gaming board that includes both gaming mat and natural terrain. The best part is that this setup costs a mere $30. There are some do-it-yourself aspects of this, so it does require a little bit of time and effort, but what the DIY aspect also provides the project with is its own unique look and style. What I would like to do for the remainder of this video is to show you the various components of the setup and how much they cost, as well as provide you with a showcase of the final project. Alright, here we go. When you are making your terrain setup, you might want to think in terms of moving from the largest items down to the smallest. So, for example, start with the gaming mat, then the large rock formations, then the small rock formations, and so on. In this way, you will get a sense of how much of each kind of terrain you will need to make your battlefield look great. The first component is the battle mat itself. I've constructed this particular one from a large brown bed sheet that I've painted using a sponge and a paintbrush. I have another video on this channel where I show you how to make a snow mat, but if there's interest, I'd be happy to give a tutorial for this style as well. I found the sheet at a secondhand store for $3. I used about $7 worth of green, brown, and yellow ochre paint on the surface, and the cheap sponges and brushes ran me about $2. So for about $12, I was able to get a pretty good looking battle mat. The second component is the large rock formations. These are constructed of styrofoam, white glue, toothpicks, sand, spackling, and paint. The styrofoam was all free, stuff that I either found on the ground or in the garbage. Likewise, the toothpicks were also free from various fast food restaurants. To hold the styrofoam together, I spent about $3 on white glue. To get the texture on the rocks, I added some sand, which I found outside, and about $3 worth of spackling. Finally, I used about $3 worth of paint that I had already had from the battle mat. So for about $9, I was able to get some pretty good looking rock formations. The third component is the small rock formations. These are constructed out of an old foam seat cushion I found on the ground. Once I cut up this cushion into small pieces, it really took a negligible amount of toothpicks, glue, and paint to finish them off, things I already had from the larger project. As such, this really did not cost anything. The fourth component is the small rocks and pebbles. These really give some great texture to the board and make it look more realistic than it would were it just a flat surface. I picked up a handful of these stones off of the ground in a local park, so no cost for these. The fifth component is the lichens that stand in as bushes. I know that these are available at your local dollar store or hobby shops. I would, however, avoid hobby shops because they tend to jack up the prices for them. Here in Sweden, there's a ton of this stuff around Christmas time that people buy in order to decorate their advent candles with. After Christmas, the big box stores are looking to get rid of this stuff, so I've been able to get a massive amount of it for about $2. The sixth component is the smaller clump foliage. You don't necessarily need this, but I find that it works great on the green spaces and acts much like the small stones to give the grassy areas more texture and definition. This is one of the more expensive items in this setup because I'm using Woodland Scenic's clump foliage. There are, however, also ways to make clump foliage if you would like to make the setup even cheaper. A huge bag, of which I typically use only about a fifth of it, costs around $7. 6 components in this full wargaming terrain setup. Let's go ahead and set it all up so that you can get a glimpse into how great of a battlefield you can get at a really affordable price. Let's go. Well, there you have it, folks. A quick walkthrough of how to get yourself a great cinematic battlefield for your wargaming hobby at an affordable cost of around $30. The example I use here today is a natural setup, but it is entirely possible to make other variations such as cities, ruins, snowfields, etc. that are of a comparable price and of a comparably good look. Well, thank you for joining us here today at Grey Army Gaming for the future of gaming.
Ta-da!